Here is what Mark Feinsand had to say. And this was part of a big conversation on MLB.com. Ian Brown, a bunch of other writers were all sort of in this. It was one of those transcribed conversations between the 4 or 5 of them. Feinsand said this. He said, this feels like a big smokescreen. Get the Blue Jays and Red Sox involved to scare the Yankees about having to face them in the AL East for the next decade plus. Get the Mets involved because they have the most money and because the Yankees won't want to lose them to the Mets and see them on the back pages for the next decade plus. Similar to what Mad Dog was saying. Feinsand also said, I have yet to speak to one person in the industry, executives, agents, etc., who believe that Soto will wind up with any team other than the Yankees or the Mets. If he signs with the Red Sox, Blue Jays, Dodgers, or any team outside of New York, there will be very, very surprised people in the baseball world. Everyone agrees that he is going to sign before the start of winter meetings. They start a week from today, Wednesday the 11th. But the prevailing wisdom now with Feinsand and with mostly, I'd say, New York-based people, and I'm not sure exactly where Feinsand's out of, but with Russo and sort of these other people I've been listening to on the New York beat, outside of Randy Miller, who's technically New Jersey, it seems like this is, and I kind of buy this, there's a lot of leverage being played, all right? The Yankees and the Mets are the two main players. The Red Sox, the Dodgers to a lesser extent, I think they're still in it, but I'm not sure that their heart's totally in it the way that these other teams are just because they're already so loaded. But I still think they're involved. But they're involved the way the Blue Jays and the Red Sox are involved, which is to say maybe they're just involved to be boosters for these other two teams. You want to lose out to the Red Sox? Well, this is what they're offering. All right? This is what they're got. You gotta pump it up if you want to beat out the Red Sox. They're serious. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't be the first time.
This is the most alarming report to me because if he is actually bringing what he purports to bring, and that's talking to a bunch of agents, insiders, people in baseball,
right,
and literally no one believes he's going to go to the Boston Red Sox, that's alarming to me. Because I think generally the streets kind of know, right? Like, people know, people talk, there's enough hubbub. That alarms me because that means the Red Sox either A, are pretenders, or B, are being used, or some combination of both. The one thing, I say everything's been reported. The one thing I haven't seen reported is structures, because it's like he wants to approach Ohtani contract. But Ohtani's contract for modern day, I forgot what it actually counted, 460 or something like that because of the deferment. And so sort of like when you win Mass Millions, and if you take the lump sum, you don't get the thing that they advertised on TV.
Right.
You know, like if it's 500 million and you want the lump sum, you get like 330. And that's what Ohtani's deal was.
Right.
So does Soto think he's getting real 600, 700 million, or is he willing to do the whole deferral thing with a signing bonus and only make $2 million a year? Because I think that should matter. And I've seen nothing reported of it, because not all $600 million offers, in my opinion, are likely to be the same, right? Like, there's going to be differences with this whole new era of deferments and signing bonuses.
Although I'd imagine that Soto's probably going to say, I'll go with whoever doesn't make me defer my money. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that that's something that he's going to be.
But what if that's
super
Yankees
into?
550? Do you take 550 real money, real deal, over 625 deferred?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
But that's my point. Like, we just snuff off 550 for the Yankees. Oh, they're out of it. Well, no, maybe theirs is actually real money. Maybe theirs is the most legitimate offer on the table.
That's true. Yes, Dan.
The one things that I feel like we've heard consistently, and again, this is just in the rumor phase, is he wants as much money from this as possible. I think it's straight up money versus deferred, and it's also opt-outs. So if you're willing to allow him to get out after year 4, year 5, year 6, whatever it may be, that seems to be something that's relatively important to him too.
I absolutely would allow that. I don't care.
Yeah.
I just want you here and now. I want you for next year, and if I have to live year by year and cross my fingers, whatever, I would definitely live that. Now, I am not smart enough.
No trade clauses, things like that.
I would bend over
incentives,
backwards,
whatever
all
you
that.
need. Yeah, sure, of course.
I actually would prefer not to defer money. I think that's going to be a slippery slope down the road that maybe future host ones and host twos are talking about for teams in baseball. Like,
I mean, the Dodgers fraud case that's definitely coming up in a decade.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
No shot that doesn't happen.
I would rather the Red Sox just sign him to a traditional $575 million contract. I'll give you your outs if you want them. Let's go try to win an AL East next year and a World Series in the next 2 years, and we'll figure out the rest moving forward.
Yeah, that sounds like the type of negotiating that the Red Sox are probably tiptoeing around. I would imagine that they've put an offer out there that includes deferrals and all sorts of stuff that is favorable for them, and that they're starting off their negotiations the way they start off all their negotiations, which is, all right, let's not go crazy here. When I think in this particular one, you got to go a little crazy if you want Juan Soto. So I'm not sure if they're willing to do that.
We've decided, because there were rumblings and theorizations for a while there that they're doing all this so they can sell the team, and I never thought it made any sense.
I don't think that's they're not selling the team.
But
they're not selling anything.
Wouldn't there be sales ramifications if you have hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of deferred payments? Like, doesn't that hinder or at least would be a consideration?
It'll count for the sale, sure.
Yeah. So I think they would probably prefer to do a real contract right now. And maybe but
they're not selling the team anyway, so
no, I know. Yeah. But you never know. I mean, you can say that, but stuff happens,
I guess, but they don't.
Wick probably didn't think he was selling either until Dad said you're selling.
Right, but there's not a dad here. I mean, it's John Henry and his big company, and they're expanding. They're not selling. They're not trying to downsize.
Tomorrow, and then they have to be liquidated for whatever reason.
I don't think that'll happen.
Stuff happens.
I mean, he might listen. I don't know when anybody's going to die. I'm just saying. I don't think that they have a big company. It's not one family doing it. It's this big corporate conglomerate now in Fenway Sports Group. It's true. It's bigger than just a family trying to buy and bankroll a team. They're trying to open a portfolio. They're not cutting teams out of it, I don't think. I mean, they've said that over and over again. I believe them when they say it. That's the one time I do believe. I was
going to say, you never believe
when they say I'm not selling the team. That's when I do believe them because I want them to. That's the reason why.